as one of the people of the book, living under any of the Khulafa, you are a second-class citizen. The only thing you are higher than is an actual pagan who, depending on the Khulafa, would or would not be tolerated. So as one of the people of the book, as a Jew, a Christian, you were tolerated, but you were under the Muslim. That's all my charges. That's all I'm saying.
But you're using a secular framework to look at that. And I'm arguing even all societies back then did have that sort of hierarchy.
No, I'd agree with that. There's no argument there. I agree. Historically, societies were like that.
So I don't really see how that refutes Islam.
So I think because the difference is, you are saying today, or not you, but Islam would say today, this is the ideal system for the world, to have the Muslim, and then to have the Al-Kitab, and then to have the pagans.
But bear in mind that a Jew can become a Muslim as well, and then that would break that.
The Ummah can become Jewish.
Whereas in cultures that have those class systems, they can never break into that. Once you're that caste or that class or that race,
I'm going to blow your mind. Have you heard of the concept of the Messiah in Judaism? You heard the Messiah. Everyone's heard the Jews are waiting for a Messiah.
Yeah.
The Messiah is going to descend from King David, Dawood alayhi salam. It's going to descend. Do you know who Dawood's great-grandma was? His great-grandma was a woman called Ruth, who was a convert to Judaism. Listen to that. The Messiah in the Jewish tradition is going to descend from a convert. So anyone who tells you you can't convert to Judaism is not only a liar, they have disgraced our tradition.
You can.
Because anyone can become
Jonah
Jewish.
went to Nineveh, didn't he? To preach what exactly? Judaism?
So monarchy, Tawhid.
It's Tawhid.
Yeah.
So you think jizya is a humiliation?
I think if I want to understand Islam, I don't judge Islam by the Muslims. I don't even judge Islam. If I want to understand Islam at its heart, at its core, I go to the Quran.
But I mean, if you look at other empires at the time and how they dealt with conquered people, it could have been a lot more brutal.
I agree.
It was actually quite an inclusive thing. Like we'll look after you.
So what I would say of Islam,
you pay the jizya, and we will protect you.
So what I would say, and this is a sincere answer.
Go on.
Please help us. The Russians don't want us.
Compared to most of the empires of that period, Islam was better for Al-Kitab, and certainly for the Jews, than the other empires. I would. There's no argument there.
Okay then.
My argument is this: today, like 1400 years later, life in a liberal democracy as a Jew is superior to life as one of the Dhimma under Islam.
But it's come at an expense.
What's that expense?
God is not in the society anymore.
I'd agree with that.
There's a lot of immorality.
I think there's many things that I like. People in the park mistake me for someone who's. I am very happy to praise Islam and Muslims where Islam and Muslims are worthy of praise.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I have no issue with. Like one of the things I'd spend a lot of time doing is going through ancient material, Geniza documents, etc., of what it was like to live as a Jew under Islam. Yeah. And it's like a 50-50 hit. You'll hit one rabbi or one Jew and they'll say how terrible it is. You'll find another who'll say how incredible it was.
There were bad
and it depended
times,
on the
like
different
the
Khulafa.
incident.
Exactly. And it depends on the Khulafa. There were Khulafa that oppressed Muslims, so of course they oppressed Jews.
Yeah. But these are the people, not the religion. So let's go to the core.
So go to the core. So I would say if you want to understand the Islamic reason for jizya, the most important document you can read is the Quran. Would you agree with that? Like, not in isolation, because you can't read anything in isolation. There is context.
Yeah, of
there's
course,
tafsir,
Quran,
there's sunnah.
then the Sunnah. You can't not do it without the Sunnah.
Exactly.
Either.
So I'm not arguing. I'm
as
not
a Sunni.
As a Jew, I'm not a Quranist.
They're Quranists and what have you, yeah.
So, but I'd say the Sunnah can't contradict the Quran. Would you agree with that?
The Sunnah shouldn't, no.
Yeah. If it contradicts the Quran, you throw it out.
And that's what the scholars did, yeah.
So when the Quran gives you the explicit reason for the jizya, that's what we should take as the reason for the jizya.
Yeah.
And so the Quran says, make them pay it till they are fully submitted and humbled. If you want to give it a nice reading, humbled, or worse reading, humiliated.
So we believe obviously the Quran is the word of God.
Yeah.
God is angry with the Jews and the Christians.
Yeah.
And that's what we believe. So he will use strong terms against them.
Okay.
You know, God will use strong terms against Jews and Christians.
Yeah. He uses strong terms.
He will want to humiliate Christians. We wouldn't want to humiliate Jews.
But it's not God that's humiliating us, it's the Khulafa. It's the caliphates.
Okay.
And it's not the Muslims
If
who
they're
humiliate the Jew.
if they're humiliating you in a way other than just the jizya, then that is not part of Islam. I mean, if you're saying they're humiliating the Jews, those Khulafa that were killing them, massacring, and then that's
do you
wrong.
not,
That's
do you
oppression.
not say
That
it's
is
a problem
oppression.
to say that like take off your Muslim hat? Let's do it another way. Let's say you're a Palestinian living in Israel,
Right.
and Israel enacts a law for Muslims that they should be fully submitted to the Jews.
Like,
And
come on,
paying
it pretty
atten-
much is like
and
that.
we just established that
Joseph.
Muslims that have sent Jewish prime minister, Arabs that have sent Jewish prime ministers to jail. We've established that there are Muslims in the government, so they're not fully submitted. They're equal.
No,
in
but the
Israel.
ones living in Gaza and
But they're not in
and-
Israel.
and the
That's- they're-
settlers coming
they're-
taking their land.
They're not Israeli.
That's a bit of an issue.
They're not
The settlers
No,
are.
no. The Arabs that were discussed in Gaza are not Israeli citizens. I'm just talking about Muslim citizens
It's not
of Israel.
consistent. Let's just be
No,
honest.
I'm saying if Israel conquers. Thank you. If Israel were to conquer Gaza and make it part of Israel, then they should. If they enacted a law then that was there to humiliate, that would then dominate. That would be outrageous. But anyway, I'm just get back. Can I get back to my point? 'Cause
That wouldn't have come from God. That would
so
have
this
come
is my
from
point.
laws of
But
men.
imagine if in this country there was a law that you as a Muslim need to be fully submitted to the Jews, let's
Yeah.
say, fully submitted to the Jews, and you have to pay a tax to them until you're humbled or humiliated. Choose whichever word. I assume that remove God from that. If the Jews
I
were doing
can't.
that as a Muslim,
I can't.
But what if your text
I
isn't from
can't.
God, which it
Okay,
isn't?
We believe it is though.
I know, but it isn't.
But then we'd have to talk about the proofs of God. We would have to then talk about the proofs of God and that Islam is a religion of God.
So
then that we'd have to open up.
but
that
you
can of
accept that
worms.
most of the world doesn't accept Islam as a religion of
They
God.
don't have to.
So then, as a non-Muslim, like you can see how that's problematic for us. You think that God is commanding you to submit, to
If
force the
they've given
Jews
us
to
the,
submit.
if God gives us the power to take
you-
jizya
so you want
as a way of humiliation,
So
then
straight
that's
question:
what God will.
do you want the Jews to fully submit to the Muslim and pay them a tax until they're humiliated?
In a Muslim land, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want.
And
And that's what I don't want. That's why I need Israel.
Okay, then there's no compulsion in religion. But once an Islamic State has been established,
And what
and
happens if the
incidentally,
Islamic?
when that jizya was being paid, that was when the most peace was there
So
between the
next
religions.
question. Islam started in Arabia, yet it went out and conquered land. Yes, with the sword.
Everyone was doing that.
So here's the thing, yeah? You said there's no compulsion in religion, but you're conquering the land that my people lived in,
Yeah,
and they're making
not
them
religion.
fully,
That's not
fully
religion.
submit. And then no, the
Not in
four righteous
Islam.
caliphs.
Not
The
in-
four righteous
they
caliphs
was-
did that.
No, they were still
including
allowed to
Muhammad.
practice their religion.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. You said under Islam this is what happened, but we both know that Islam went into nations, conquered
A
them.
lot of countries did.
I agree. I'm not arguing with
Double
that.
standards.
But you have a law that says once they do that,
Yeah.
they are to be humbled and forced to fully submit.
Yeah, because
to the
they're not
Muslim.
monotheistic anymore. They're disbelievers. They've
Jews aren't monotheistic.
They're not, because they take the rabbis as gods.
So explain this to me then. Why would Muhammad allow the Jews, the Muslim, to eat the meat from the Jews? Why would Muhammad?
God did.
Yeah,
Because
no,
it's clean. Because they do.
Listen. It's
they do all
because
the
they
things.
believe in Tawheed. It's because
They're
the
meant-
Jews,
yeah,
the Jews
originally,
believe
yes.
Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem
Originally,
Echad.
but in the-
Hashem Echad.
Okay,
God
okay.
is one.
Yeah,
God is one.
Yeah, we accept that. But then in the Talmud, a lot of the rabbis are gods. We
No,
are
they're
gods.
not.
Yes, they're taken as gods.
Astaghfirullah.
Yeah,
Listen to the
they are
lies that
go-
the
they are
brother
gods on
speaks. Listen to the lies.